Okay, here's what I want you guys to do, okay? Follow me. You're going to put all your stuff away for right now. You're going to stand up and you're going to stack the chairs all the way to the back. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're going to spend the next 4 to 5 weeks together every Saturday and work together. So I want to say 2 things before we get started. The first is that it's really important for young adults like yourself to be able to speak your voice and have a message and to share your message. And sometimes today in society, you don't really get that opportunity beyond like social media and Facebook and Instagram. And so being able to do this like speaking competition and apply for this TEDx talk is really important because it gives you the opportunity to share your message, whatever that is. And the truth is that like every single one of you guys have a message that needs to be heard. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is that in your mind right now, you're probably a little bit scared and you have fear and doubt. Like there's no way I'm gonna go stand on stage and speak and do a talk, okay? But the reality is that 90% of the people in the world, not just young adults, people are scared to speak. Okay, so we work with adults every single day that are afraid to get on stage. So the feeling that you have right now is totally normal. Okay, so I just did a TED talk about a month and a half ago, and all of the adults that did the talk were like shaking in their boots and they were nervous. So that's normal. Okay, so I want you to know that the feeling that you have right now is completely okay. I don't want that to take you away from doing a talk and like being on stage to speak, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come up with a couple of agreements as a team, as a group, because I need you to trust me and I need to trust you. Otherwise, together we're not really going to be able to make this happen, and it's all about building that relationship, okay? So we're going to come up with some agreements for the next few weeks. Agreements being that you guys get to decide how you want to show up and how you want this training to be. And you're going to decide. So for example, somebody can raise their hand and say, for the next 4 weeks, I think that we should all come in this room and be open-minded. Okay, like that's an agreement. So I'm going to let you guys come up with the agreements as a circle, and we're going to choose 4. So anybody can raise their hand and make a suggestion. Anybody?
In the next couple of weeks, everybody should be more open-minded, should inspire each and every one of us, and just have this as a family. Just don't be scared to let your thoughts come out, and everybody's here to support you, and you're not by yourself.
Great. Awesome. Beautiful. So that's one agreement. So for the next couple weeks, we're going to come in, and what I heard you say is we're going to be open-minded, and we're going to be okay to like be vulnerable, make mistakes, and we're all just going to work with one another, right? Okay. Anybody else have an agreement?
We're all going to participate and contribute.
Okay. We're all going to participate and contribute. Be respectful to everyone. Okay. Very good. Anything else? Yes.
Don't be afraid to answer your questions.
Yes, don't be afraid to answer or ask questions. I love that. Thank you for sharing.
Can we just have fun also?
Yes.
Yeah? All right.
Okay. So now what we're gonna do, and we have those agreements, right? So trust, open-mindedness. Remember that first one? I'm gonna give you time. We're gonna go around the circle. You're gonna tell us your name. Okay. You're gonna tell us how old you are. Your name, how old you are. Why you're here today.
Hi, I'm Lily. I'm 18, and I'm here today to learn more about event planning, actually, and I'm just wondering if there's anything I can help out.
My name is Dakota. I'm 22 years old, and I'm here to be a resource to you guys, to learn from you as well as you guys to learn from me. So I'm also a young, person like you guys, so questions, answers, we're all in the same boat together.
More than a decade older.
Awesome. So what we're going to do is I'm going to challenge you to that next level. So remember how it's all about trust and open-mindedness, okay? So go with me. So we have 3 other team members here from Rise Up For You, okay? So Rise Up For You is the company that I built, and this is a part of our team. So we have Jess, Dakota, and Kathy, okay? So we are going to break into 3 circles, okay? So some of you are going to go with Dakota, some of you are going to go with Jess, some of you are going to go with Kathy, part of you guys are going to go with Gary, okay? No, part of you. What is part? So when you get into your group, okay, so remember we got 4 groups with one of these 4, you can choose, it doesn't matter. You're going to get into a circle, you're going to just like sit down, you're going to relax, okay? And then you're going to sing something, okay? You're going to sing whatever you want It could be in any language that you want. It could be any song that you want. It just has to be family friendly, okay? Okay, no cussing, okay? And it doesn't matter if you sing or if you've sung before or you haven't, it doesn't matter. Okay, so whatever you want, and you only have to sing like 15 seconds, just nice and short. Okay? So here we go. We're gonna break into groups on 3. 1, 2, 3. Go.
Let's sit down.
Let's do it.
Let's just sit
You
down.
guys got 5, okay? How many do you guys have?
We've got 6.
6? Okay,
Alright,
perfect.
come in tighter though. We want to be in a
Just can you move it just a little bit this way? Right. Sing for me. Anything you want. What you just saying is fine. Hallelujah.
Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you. Don't forget me, I beg, I remember you said sometimes you lost in love, but sometimes you hurt instead.
Yeah. All right. Oh, here, you want to go? Okay. I love that. He's like, I'm going.
He's like, I'm ready.
我爱他跌跌撞撞到绝望，我的心狠狠伤过却不会忘，我和他不再属于这个地方，追逐了天上最荒的荒唐。
Yes. Show that you can do anything that you put your mind to. It's going to be a little bit scary, okay? But if you just do it and you take a chance, you'll survive it. We're going to grab our chairs, okay? And we're going to set them back up, and now we're going to get going with like taking notes and figuring out, okay, how do I create my talk? Sound good? Awesome. All right, go grab your chairs. Here we go. When we go into speaking, we always want to check our guidelines. Like, are there do's and there don'ts when it comes to speaking? Or like, can I say and do whatever we want? Like, we always have to check. It doesn't matter if you're doing a TED Talk or if you're going to speak on stage for a company or for someone. You have to figure out, like, what can I do and what can't I do? Okay? 4 guidelines that we have to abide by. That we need to make sure when we do the talk, we can't do this, okay? So the first thing I don't think you really have to worry about, it's mainly people that like have their own company or they have a product to sell. But the first is that when you do a TEDx, you're not allowed to sell from the stage. Meaning that you're not allowed to like promote your product. TEDx is all about educating and inspiring and really just serving. So I like to say serving, like you just give all like your knowledge and your expertise and you inspire the audience and that's it. Like you're not asking them to promote you or do anything else, okay? Okay, the second is no political agenda. So we're not allowed to go up there and like talk about like the Democrat Party, the Republican Party, or we're not allowed to like boost political leaders in our talk. We have to keep politics away from TED. The third one is no religious persuading. Okay, so even though we have a lot of beautiful beliefs and religious thoughts, for TEDx, they want us to stay away from anything that has to do with like religious beliefs or persuading to the audience. And so we need to make sure that all of the stuff that we put in our TED Talk is good science, meaning that it's credible from a good source and it's real. Okay, so sources that come from like universities, science institutes, that's the kind of stuff that you want to look for when you're building your talk. The next part is simple. The time limit specifically for you guys for this is 7 to 12 minutes. Today, we're seeing that more and more the attention span of everyone is getting shorter. Nobody wants to watch an 18-minute talk anymore. Crafting your message. Here we go. The first part about crafting your message is just figuring out what your idea is. So your ideas, they could be new and inspiring, but they can also challenge an idea that already exists. So there might be something out there that you're like, here's a whole new way of thinking about it, and you can do your talk on that. So this is all in crafting your message. First, you want to develop the idea, okay? And then you want to make sure that you're an expert to some level. So these are like the 3 pillars that you want to think about. So when you write your talk, you want to like chunk it in 3. It's like, what? So what? Now what? What are you talking about? Why should we care? and what do you want us to do about it? Okay? So when you're on stage as a speaker, you have the ability to inspire your audience. And most of the time when we go on stage to speak, it's because we want the audience to do something, right? Like we want them to either, become an advocate for homelessness in America, or we want them to build self-esteem, or we want them to go and make a change in their community. Like there's a reason why we're on stage. And so you want to make sure that you establish like what you're talking about, why it's so important, and now this is what you have to do to help, right? This is your call to action, we call it. Call to action, like go out there and take action. So the what? What is the big idea that you have? What is it that you want to talk about? You want to be clear. You want to invoke and engage your audience instantly, like you want to get them right away. If you remember anything today, remember this. The beginning and the end are the most important, okay? How you start is important because if you don't engage them, then they're going to fall asleep, right? They're going to tune out. And then the end is important because that's what they remember. So you can have a great talk, but then if your end is weak or you don't give them a call to action, then they'll forget your talk. And you want to be remembered, okay? So your beginning and your end are super important. So with your what, you want to engage your audience, and then what's the point I'm following? So like throughout your whole talk, we should know like, okay, they're trying to convince us about this, or their talk is about this idea. So now here's an idea. So you guys know that I'm a speaker, and I've also done a TED Talk and all that, right? So this is mine. So I'm going to show you exactly what I wrote, okay? So here's my what. Today, a lack of internal confidence and belief in oneself has reached an epidemic proportions. Instead, we are seeing the highest depression, anxiety, and suicide rate across the board amongst young adults and working professionals. This is my what. So what is it? Today, we're struggling with confidence and belief, and because of it, we have the highest rate of depression, anxiety, and suicide. This is what? This is my topic. So now what I want you to do is I want you to take 5 minutes, and you're going to write down your what. Let's go around, and you're just going to stand up, and you're just going to say what your what is. If you didn't write anything down, you're going to stand up and say, my what has still not been established. You're going to sit down, okay? And while we're doing this, we're going to practice like standing up, hands by our side, and really projecting our sound, okay? So there's 2 points to this. One is for you to say your what, and the second is for you to just like practice getting up and like speaking up and down, okay? So we'll start with you.
We underestimate our own self-value, our own self-worth, and our perfection in us as we go beyond putting ourselves under the limits, the limitations, and the own self-discipline of how we seek things in our community, how we get the support and advocate upon our needs.
Okay, good. That first line was perfect.
Okay.
Very good. Good. Nice voice.
So today, using technology to learn is becoming a trend. We use Kindle to read, Google Classroom, maybe Classroom to learn, to write. But is that trend really helpful or beneficial to students?
Okay, good. Very good. Good job, you guys.
Today, living in such a digital age, cyberbullying is becoming a rising issue.
Okay, stop. I'm going to stop right there. You're doing amazing. Stand up nice and tall. And try to slow down just a little bit.
Today, in such a digital age, cyberbullying is becoming a rising issue that threatens the mental health and relationships among teens. Such nearly transparent attacks could result in transcendent wrongs and harms in the victims. But this behavior is hard to detect, no ways to stop, and no solution to solve.
Very good. Good job. That's a great topic. Good. You guys are pros already. What do you need me for?
So my what is about
trafficking. Human trafficking is something that happens in our community, but that we don't see it happening every day. And for the human trafficking victims, the individual right and their free will are taken away by the trafficker. I think this is a problem that's needed to be addressed.
Good, good, very good. I'm going to stop you there because the next part that you're going to go into is we're going to do in a second. Very good.
So my topic is about how to take care of yourself when, as a teenager, when your parents don't live with you, and it's important that you now need to. It's important that you have to take care of yourself and handle things by yourself. Even though you are a teenager who is under 18, we have to learn about how to achieve specific goal in life and learn how to be more independent.
Very good, very good. Billy.
To achieve sustainable cities and sustainable communities, we have to achieve sustainable energy in our own communities instead of relying on governmental policy reforms, and we need to start our own. So.
Good job. I love the topic so far, you guys.
I don't have half of it, but
That's okay.
a lot of families have a problem in communicating. The lack of effective communication led to the tension between teenagers and their parents. Also, the questioning of the appropriate parenting has been a hot topic.
Very good, very good.
Public speaking is a really important skill to have in your life, but most people are scared and afraid of speaking publicly. We get nervous and lose our confidence, but what's the main reason we lack our confidence?
Good job.
Social media is only existing for 20 years around. And that thing's only existing for 20 years totally changes us totally. And it's in all kinds of social media, Facebook, web, WeChat, or anything else. It's just like dominating our life. So how could like the social media shaping us and change our mind?
Very good.
My speech is not established yet.
Thank you. Wei.
Yeah, okay.
Did I say you're saying your name right?
No.
How do you say it?
Elaine.
Oh, Elaine.
Yeah.
Okay, why do I think I heard you say Wei? Elaine.
Okay. So my topic's a little bit controversial, but okay. You see Kylie Jenner on Instagram and all the other perfect girls with cosmetic surgery and face food. But you as an ordinary teenager, how do you feel really confident and feel beautiful in the midst of all the gender and all the beauty stereotypes?
Very
and all
good.
that?
Good job. Thank you. Good.
The view of adulting is, as a young teenager, is like entering a whole new planet. There are expansive opportunities to explore and responsibilities that a young citizen wasn't told.
Very good. Pleasure. We're smart.
My what has not been accomplished.
Good job.
Students get such a large amount of homework every day, which can lead to a lot of stress and anxiety. What are some alternatives to overloading students with like potentially useless and busy work?
Such a good topic. That's great.
Addiction to gaming is a growing issue in our present-day society, and with addiction, students lose focus in schools and their priorities. And how can we allow gaming to still exist, but not have students cross the line of addiction?
Very good. So now we're going to go to the next part. So you already established like what your what is, okay? Now you need to convince us why it's important. So like, why should I listen to what you're saying? Why is it important? Okay? Why should I care about this idea? So this is where we want to bring in research and data. This is where we want to bring in evidence. This is where we want to show like the positive and the negative, right? So we want to be able to say like, for example, did you know that in the past 20 years, 90% of society, and it should promote your cause, right? Your so what is going to be probably the longest section, because this is where you're going to say like, here are the things that are happening, and now this is how we fix it. Does that make sense to you? Okay, so now I want you to take a few minutes, and I just want you to put one thing down, like why does this matter? So what? So with your topic that you already wrote, now add the why. Why should I listen? So put like one thing down about why should we listen. it's okay right now if you don't have evidence. Like it's okay. Just for right now, just put one idea why you think it's important. And then when you go home, then you can like look things up and do a little bit more research.
Currently, study shows with the same group of people, the memory they encode by reading in actual books is stronger, also lasts longer compared to those who use screen to read.
Anybody else want to share?
Is there anyone who have been read Fahrenheit 451?
Say that again, nice and loud.
Fahrenheit 451.
Okay.
It's a book about future world, like people are controlled by the social media or technology. So like nowadays, one of my friends, before we eating, we go out, have a party and we eat. And she said, oh no, I want to take a photo, please don't eat. So this is my point. So right now most people are using social media and it's become part of our life. And in the processing of we sharing our life, and is the social media dominate our mind or we dominate the social media?
You can do this. Anybody can do this. You just need like a little bit of information like this and you're like, okay, and now you just put it together. Okay, so we're gonna keep going. So we did the what? What was the second one? So what? Very good. And the last one is now what? Okay, so what's my call to action for this idea? So basically what we want to do now is we want to like inspire the audience to take some kind of action. Okay, so with cyberbullying, we have to give them an action. So now what? Here's what you can do as a society. Here's what you can do as an audience. And then give them like that point or that call to action. You want to end strong and you want to make sure like we know what to do. What do you want your audience to do from here?
So our community has continually ignored the problem of human trafficking due to low awareness. So some action have to be done to combat this issue. In the future, I hope everyone here and literally everyone can stand up and advocate for this topic, whether to your family, friends, co-worker, but please educate yourself and others about this topic.
Good, good. So your call to action is go out there and educate yourself and learn more about this topic. Good, anybody else?
Based on that, we must limit the usage of technology in schools, especially students. But beyond that, we should make ourselves get into more paperwork in order to have a more efficient and effective learning mode.
So now you have the tools to start like formulating it, and it doesn't have to be perfect. When you come back next week, then we'll help you, we'll work through it, and we'll be like, oh, try this, insert this, like we'll work with you on that, okay? But now, like, as you're writing your script, you have to know, like, how do I want to present it, okay? So there's 4 types of persona that you can take on. You can take on all of them, or it can just be one. So the first type of speaker persona is the storyteller. That means that you get your point across through telling stories, right? Or it might be an experience. So you might say, when I was 5 years old, I woke up, I got out of bed, I walked into the kitchen, and I saw my parents standing there. You see how I'm telling the story, and now everyone's like listening? So you can be the storyteller. Okay, you inspire through an experience to gauge us in your topic. Or you can be the educator. So this is where you mentor and empower change. Okay, or you can be the researcher that wows us with the data, meaning that you give us more like facts and science-based points. So you might stand up and say, did you know that in 1979, 59% of Americans, like, you're just giving us information and data, the research. Or you can be the activist, right? In regards to like human trafficking, where you could say human trafficking is a problem around the world that has still not been solved. Do you see what I mean? So now you want to figure out, you have to figure this out before you start writing. Because your script is going to be this. You're going to write your story, and then you're going to put maybe some research in there, and then you're going to maybe have like the activist tone. So I'll tell you that I have 2, okay? So I'm a storyteller. I usually start with the story. So everything I do, I start with the story, okay? And then I'll go into like some research to establish credibility. So like, here's the important fact, so they know that I'm real and that I'm not making stuff up. Okay, and then I'll end with like as an educator, like as a mentor to like teach. So I want you to think about like which one are you, and as you write your talk, this is where you're gonna start. So you might start typing the story, and the story can be about you. It can be your experience. The story can be about somebody else that you know, okay? Or the story can be a made up story that paints a hypothetical picture for your audience. Okay, so I want you to think about that for a minute, what you think, which approach you think you would take. So now when you're writing your script, and again, I'd love you guys to start formulating it and have most of it done by the next time we see you guys. We need a clear introduction, middle, and end. Okay, and remember, chunk your talk into 3. So what, what's the last one?
No, what?
Now what? Good, okay? Make sure your talk is relevant to the audience, okay? Does this talk make a connection with people? Remember that people are moved, they remember things when you like move them emotionally. Okay, so you want to try to find a way that's going to connect with them so that they care about your topic. Okay? Is it relatable? And always keep the listener in mind. So think about the listener. So here's what I want you to do by next week. I want you to have your talk done, okay, written out. It doesn't have to be memorized. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to help you. But just like outline it, okay, do it, like type it, okay, and then print it out and bring it. And then we can help you and like we can move things around. Now you're going to watch TED videos for examples. Watch a few of them, okay, and watch a few of them that are on your topic. To tell you the truth, you guys, I think every single person in this room should do the talk. You should do the competition. Because all of you stood up and you had something very, very important to say. And it makes a difference when somebody that's a young adult like yourself says it.